Hello and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. It is Monday, September 5th. In this episode, City and Liverpool draw. Manchester United wins its first big game of the season as they beat Arsenal, who stumble to their first loss. But first, Mike, you know it's my favorite thing. It's back. VAR is the worst. I hate it. What to say you to my VAR death spiral? The less we talk about it, the better.
But yeah, exactly. I'm over it. You know what? Look, like they made it less or more vague on the offside ruling, and I think that's been good overall for the game. I'm staying above the fray on this because I don't see anything that comes out of it other than the shit that we used to sound annoyingly just so unoriginal. Everybody is just like, there's nothing coming from it. There's nothing that's going to happen. You know what you guys should do? You should riot. You should go outside the stadiums and grab your signs and your pitchforks and your torches and go threaten to burn some buildings down. Because last time you did that, the Super League was dead on arrival. So you want to kill VAR? Go threaten people's lives.
I've got things. So it's back. I think this is new, though. Here's the thing that's new. We have this. So there were at least 3 or 4. Let me see if I can rattle them off. We had the Arsenal pushing it back on Eriksen from Odegaard. Foul, probably, whatever.
I thought it was foul.
Okay. We had Mendy. We had Bowen on a hurdle kick Mendy that was going to level that game. I had that game as a draw, plus 225. I was not happy about that because it was a goal. They did all the celebrating. They did the whole thing. In your game, you had Richarlison do a celebration, takes his shirt off. They chalked that one off. You have an amazing thunder cunt goal from Mac Allister. That would have been a goal of a season type of goal. Complete on the half volley, thunderbolt. And then what's even better about it is that he gets it back, which is incredible, even better. That one's chalked off. And then there's a goal in the Newcastle Palace game where there's a push in the back. It pushes into the goalkeeper, and they call. All in all, it's not anything different from regular VAR. But here's the thing that I have that's really annoying that I don't like at all. We're getting into a re-refereeing mode. So you have 2 things that happen at the same time. One is they are trying to let things flow and let fouls go because they want the game to go instead of calling fouls. Okay, let's put that over here. You let that happen and don't call things unless there's a goal, in which case you have to go back and re-referee because you didn't call the foul that you would have called in the past. That's the one that I have for the Odegaard goal against United. They don't call the foul, which would have been fine had they not scored a goal. But once they scored a goal, then they have to go back and call the foul. It's just like, what are you doing? Don't re-ref the games. And the excitement piece for just going to a couple of the goals to the Mac Allister goal, that's such a great goal. That's chalked off on an offside that...
On a technicality.
On technicalities, right? Like, I'm not sure what to do. Like, I know we don't want to go too far down it. I want to go into the scores and then into the United game.
Well, let's just start with this, right? Like, where do you draw the line? Because
it just
on that
keeps getting pushed up. Whatever the line is, the argument just moves up to that level.
We've had this exact conversation, I think, on previous episodes where you've got using the United Arsenal example is a perfect parallel. If I foul a player, it doesn't get called. I go down and I have a shot blocked and it goes out for a corner and we score off the corner. Well, wait, now you can't go back
because that's the second phase.
That's the second phase of play.
Yes.
Oh, bullshit.
Right, but how far do you go back?
All theoretically, and I'm not suggesting that this should go further, right? But like, I mean, where all of this, we said this before. It's an attempt at precision in an otherwise sport that doesn't have any interest in accuracy whatsoever. How many minutes do you want to add on? I don't know. 4.
Yeah, if you really want to get like, it's got to be right. Put a fucking clock in the stands that everyone can see.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
We had that with the Liverpool game 2 days ago in midweek. There's been so many games. I don't even know if that wasn't this midweek. That was last midweek. Whatever.
Spurs almost got scored on against Fulham at the end too. And I didn't know this until I was in the stadium. You're sitting at home. You know how much time is left in the game. They say 90 plus 6 and you don't know if
You
it's
got it.
4.
Well, I mean,
if it's
everyone
7.
has a cell phone, and if you're a geek, you just put the time on. But
Sure, but like most people aren't.
oh, by the
most
way,
people are watching the game and look up and go back to the game.
Actually, another one. There's the Coutinho scored a go-ahead goal for Aston Villa that was called off for offside because the referee just blew the whistle when we let everything play forever. They blows the whistle, City stops, and then Coutinho puts it in. And
oh wow,
George's like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
So there's just so much. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel. My general idea is just no VAR. Just don't do it. Just offside, and only if we can get it to black and white offside, not the offside where is he standing in the line thing.
Well, hold on. I think we've gotten to black and white offside. I think that they whatever they did, they thickened the lines, which means the margins
that part's fine. It's the one that would happen to Brighton with Awepu was a judgment offside. Did his interference that version of offside where it's still a judgment call and the guy just I think like if you kick your foot
but offside is the role of the sideline official, right?
Yes.
How can he possibly be in correct position to see that, right? So I kind of argue that you do need VAR for that. If you so much, by the way, you know what else you can do? You can just take that fucking rule out. You know what? Hockey guys make millions of dollars screening the goalie. Fucking go screen the goalie.
I know.
I don't care.
There's a line. I don't know. There's that, and then by the way, I've missed one more.
This is our stupid American episode.
It was another hand. I got mad. People got mad at me on Reddit. I've been writing on Reddit that are fun. I put 30 cities where if I make a franchise version of football, people went insane. They were like, "You're evil. You should die for even considering a version of sport that makes more money." Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Like, Vienna should have a team. Anyway, so I will get to the scores in a minute, but the last thing was there's one more. There's a handball in the Bournemouth game where the guy he's running out to the shot at full speed. He turns his body. The ball hits his hand. They call the penalty.
Yeah.
Like, what are you supposed to do? Anyway, I hate it. I want no VAR. I watched the championship highlight show. Guy freaking did a clear handball. Play on. Nobody saw it.
I mean, look, that also does bring the onus back onto all VAR has done is give the referees a pass.
Just put 2 referees on the field before you go to video. How about that?
Yeah.
Why not? Try put 3. Like, how about there's just one in each half? They don't have to run up and down. They're not tired. Like, just what are you guys doing? Like, the NFL has 14 guys going. Oh, that's the holding guy. That's this guy. That's the back judge. It's the front judge. Like, why don't we do it that way?
That's a good point.
I know. Anyway, so and then as a head referee,
some scores
tells you what's happening. Let's go to the scores. Okay, so the early game was 0-0 Everton Liverpool. This was a really, really good 0-0. Everton, I think, go away from this game feeling really good at home, having gotten the draw.
4 posts total, 3 by Liverpool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I mean, but Liverpool are still not firing. No solid goals, no nothing. Chelsea 2, West Ham 1. Again, can be aggrieved. West Ham should have had this. Moyes lost his mind. Pulisic started. He was bad. Brozier came on again with Mount. Well, Chelsea looked a lot better. Your boy, who's that fullback that you like? I can't remember his name. Chilwell came on and scored a really good goal. Your boys from Tottenham beat Fulham. Tough game. You managed it on your own. Very defensive. Mitrovic with another goal, a really nice one. Brentford,
we had a Richarlison goal chalked off that would have killed the game, and Mitrovic almost took Fulham back to a draw single-handedly.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Brentford 5-2 versus Leeds. Brentford were really good in this game. Even Tony with the hat trick. So good.
Did you see the third goal yet?
I saw it, yes, on the chip, on the rounding. The free kicks were short, and then the penalty was really good. Really good all around from Brentford. I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue. Newcastle 0, Crystal Palace 0. Newcastle are still playing well. They're not really getting the wins you'd expect. Isak also had a really good breakaway again, but the goalkeeper saved it. Wolves get off to Schneid. They actually have a striker. And guess what the big news is with Wolves? Diego Costa.
Yeah.
Amazing. Southampton, again, call themselves playing well, only lose 1-0 to this. Nottingham Forest are up 2, lose 3-2 to Bournemouth, playing out from the back, making mistakes. Solanke with a really nice volley. Bournemouth, maybe they should have fired Parker earlier, but this is a bad loss for Forest if they want to stay up. I thought they were going to be a team that stay up. I really had a lot of faith in Cooper. Now I'm not sure. Forest and Bournemouth are still the 2 teams I think are going down. Villa 1, Manchester City 1. Gerrard gets off to Schneid. Haaland gets his 10th goal in 6, but this is a game that City win most of the time. I don't like City have these games. They've usually started the season really bad. We talked very briefly. Brighton 5, Leicester 2. Leicester are fucking awful. No fight, no nothing. Brighton blew the doors off them and were never in trouble. Really good goals. Mac Allister with 2, could have had a hat trick. Daka had one. Our friends from Africa did some good work there. Caicedo had one. Iheanacho had one early. So Leicester had a goal in the first minute. No sweat off Brighton's back. They go back. They keep fighting, and they kill Leicester City. Brendan Rodgers is going to get fired if the way things are going. And then finally, we'll go right into this one. Manchester United 3, Arsenal 1. And what say you about this one? This was a really good game.
Yeah, it was back and forth. Peter Drury kept talking about how this used to be the game of the season, right? And
it was.
And how it was on its way of getting back to relevance. And it felt like a big game, right? Like, and it actually, if you told me that one team was 4-0 and the other was kind of finding their way through the Premier League, and it's an early season night game at Old Trafford, I'd be like, wow, yeah, okay. So how did Arsenal figure out their way? Like, no, hold on. Those roles were reversed, right? So Arsenal threw a couple of punches early. They obviously had the goal taken off the board, and they get one back. And United didn't flinch, which was actually really, really interesting. Obviously, Rashford with 2, but the real story for me is that pass that Bruno played, right? He's been everywhere. Mm-hmm. Much deeper role, and it's watching him and Eriksen kind of on a push-pull relationship.
That's the key. It unlocks. Yeah. They unlock. It's Eriksen. It's having what people have been saying. I sort of had an argument. There was a lot of good chatter in our WhatsApp group. I'll put it into the link into the description during the show. If you want to talk to us about the games. We have like 10 guys now in the WhatsApp group. We're talking about the games. Mike, Char, you can join in. It's a little bit wacky. Different teams from different teams. But the thing we knew was that United. People would just sort of shout McFred. But why? Because those 2 together could not get the ball off the defense and turn it into attack at a way that was unexpected. They were always predictable. They'd turn, you'd be like, it'd be really slow. Having that number 14 in Eriksen take the ball off Lisandro Martinez and turn and have Bruno Fernandes be in front of him and have it be precise, quick, and movable is just completely changed how quickly United can go into attack, into the front players. And it was Bruno and Eriksen over and over again, but mostly on the break. I mean, they just sort of sat back and defended. I mean, Arsenal still had the ball, but when it was time to turn and become an attacking force, United really broke through the lines quickly, and that's how they scored their goals.
Yeah.
Really good. Really, really good.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the thing that shocked me about the pass from Bruno was that, these players know they're always being marked, and so when they have a moment to look up, they recognize 2 things. 1, holy shit, I'm alone, and 2, where is he? There he is. And just forgetting for a second the actual physical skill, the outside boot through ball.
Yeah, that's the second goal or the last goal?
I believe it was the second one.
The one that broke it. The last goal was just a mistake. They were just broke. Right. They broke through. Yeah.
Well, and it was actually that was an interesting part too. He really brought on like 3 attacking players. He's like, I don't care. Like, I'm going for not just the draw. He's like, I want to keep going and getting.
And it was a mistake because he made that change and it gave up a goal right away.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe it was a little early, a little desperate. But I don't necessarily hate the move itself.
No. If it works, he's a genius, right?
Sure. But no, just the 2 things about that Bruno pass, right? Like A, he identifies the freedom, and then B, he immediately finds Rashford like a T1000, like there it is right there, and bang, he's off to the races. So yeah, I mean, it was a comprehensive performance from United, I'd say.
Let's go back one though. We do have to give, Anthony plays. it's a big deal. They 100 million pound player. He seemed, what I liked about him was confidence. He didn't seem rattled. He was into it. He kisses the badge. It's a little early for badge kissing, 35 minutes in, but it was an easy goal. I think Zinchenko got sucked over to the ball, and things broke down because Gabriel jumped out at Fernandez who Tierney plays advantage, which allows the goal to happen. But Fernandez just is one of the players I hate the most. He just, every touch is a roll around. Every call, he's in someone's face. His teeth are offsides. His teeth are offsides. He drives me fucking insane. I recognize how great he is. I recognize the sort of leadership role he takes. You have a hot and cold, and Eriksen is just like chill, Danish, doesn't talk loud, just does his talking with his feet. And then you've got, Fernandez, who's this chatterbox, but the team was good. And I think, United fans have to be really happy. They were, after those 2 losses, it was a disaster. And, Ten Hag makes the move, sorry. He makes a couple moves. One, he gets $60 million in the door. I don't think we can underestimate the power of the signing of Casemiro, whether he's playing or not. What that says to the players, what it says to the team. It's like, oh, we're going to get lifted up. I think there's a lot of that.
Well, hold on. Even before that, he puts Lisandro Martinez on the field rather than Harry Maguire, right? So
right. But they lost that first game with Martinez badly.
Sure, but I mean, you give him, but with Maguire, if I remember correctly. But
right, with Maguire, correct.
Yes, Varane and Martinez now.
And everything's working in every single game that they win and that they work. I feel like there's I had a conversation on Reddit about it. They were like, why don't United fans like Ronaldo? It's not that they don't like Ronaldo. It's that the force of his personality, he's bigger than the club. He might be bigger than the Premier League. To play with him, for all these 20-year-olds, he's a giant magnet of energy that you can't control the squad if he's playing.
Right. So
by removing him, and every moment that he's removed and United win is another, like, there's a giant dial of the Tagometer, the Ten Hagometer. It's moving, and it's a battle between he and Ronaldo. It's moving Ten Hag's way because every time they win, every move, every change, every moment of practice, bringing Rashford back in and having it work. Listen, are they playing counter-attacking football that Ole played? Yes, because they tried to play Ten Hag's way, and like a smart manager, he's like, this team is not ready to play the way I want to play. We got to play this way. And some people don't do that, and he did.
Oh. Some people just walk right into the storm, and that's how you get shit canned after 6 games, right? But I thought it was interesting actually going back to this match. They bring on Ronaldo with about 30 minutes, and I tweeted this from our account. 30 minutes up a goal, and Ronaldo's coming on. He's not somebody who tracks back. He's not somebody who presses the defense, and I wondered what the utility of that is with a lead, especially playing on the counter. I get that he's the guy up there. It was funny. I kept watching for Bruno because I had him in a shot prop, and I actually I would be surprised when I saw Ronaldo enter the field of vision on the second half of the field, right, or on the defensive half of the field.
He did do that. He was part of the action that got Eriksen free, right?
For the third goal,
I think he was
potentially sure, but all I'm saying is that's not the guy. Even if it's an attacking player, that's not the guy I would have brought on. Not to speak ill of Ronaldo, but like we've said it many times, he's just not what you need in that situation. And then lo and behold, Arsenal scores 2 minutes later. Not saying that these are directly connected, but I just thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, well, at least now you're not defending a goal. He can go be himself.
Yeah, and we haven't talked Arsenal. I mean, Arsenal have been playing the way we've expected them to play. I thought they played really well. I thought Jesus was doing his thing. He didn't quite get the assist for the Saka goal, but it's his run that forces the error that Odegaard does, that nice straight pass into Jesus that then Saka gets on and they score their goal. The Martinelli goal that was chalked off was really, that was Odegaard pressing. I think one of the secret things about Odegaard that I think is sort of underrated, he's not just some silky, lock-on picker. He defends. Like, he goes after people. He's running. He's pressing. He's on top of people. He's got and I know this because he played at Sociedad, he does have a David Silva quality to him. Except instead of playing on the left side, he plays on the right side. He does do the sort of spinny move. It doesn't shoot much. He does have it remind me of David Silva. Now, no one is David Silva. David Silva is one of the greatest Premier League players ever. But Odegaard is in that mold. If you want to sort of think about a hardworking leader who doesn't lose the ball, you can trust. Like ticks all the boxes, and I really like watching Arsenal with him in the team. He's just got a thing that you like when you see him. And Arsenal shouldn't feel bad about losing this game. I think they just got hit on a break, and those finishes from Rashford were, especially the second one, was really, really good. And then the other one was just, they just lost. It was just a good game. But it does put some doubt into Arsenal, right? We were there. But if you'd have told Arsenal fans 6 games in you'd be 5-1, they would have said,
on top of the table.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, I was throwing cold water on the can Arsenal win the league conversation a week ago, not because I don't think that they can, or because whether I think they can or they can't is irrelevant, because it was August 31st or whatever day it was, right? So everybody calm the fuck down. But again, like I said, they have 12 points in the bag that they are going to use in that top 4 race. That's going to be weaponized in March and April and May. And
the thing is, it's going to get even tougher now. So
well, sure.
I now don't know. Like I think if you think about a month ago or 2 months ago, was it a month? I don't even know. The season's flying. I had Tuchel. I had Chelsea in the top 4 as a vote for Tuchel because of the unknown of Ten Hag and Arteta. But now I'm like, if United are going to be a 20-win team, I don't think that's unreasonable. 20 wins is a lot.
Sure.
That puts them in that 65, 70 range.
Yep.
70 is a lot. It's going to be like
70's right around the line.
Someone really, really good, that top 4 race in that battle. And I think that City and United, City I think is probably going to take off. But maybe that intensity of being pushed by Liverpool, they won't. Because if Liverpool is going to be down, that means that the ceiling is going to go down if the intensity goes down. And they're all sort of chopping and changing at each other. Maybe it's going to be a 90-point season, not a 94-point season.
Exactly. Yeah. By the way, 70 gets you 4th place in every year since 2018-19. 2017, the Centurions year, 75 was 4th place.
There was some 66s in there because I know that.
Oh, yeah, there were. Yeah, no, 71 is the line. Spurs did it twice with 71 in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, but there's been some 79s. Like if you look back, there's when the league was less deep, the top 4, like Arsenal was in the 70s and would hit.
Yeah, sure.
So let's go to where do I want to go? I want to do the Merseyside derby just because
I was hoping you would, because that's the game I had too. And I just the story for me is that Everton got off the mat. They were. Nobody has given more shit to Everton in the first month plus of the season than me, and I thought this was easy money.
I've been more supportive of late. I think I'm coming around on Fat Frank.
I thought this was easy money. But Damari Gray and Neil Maupay looked really great. He brought the wipes. He looked good. He was at it.
He missed a sitter. Oh my god!
Oh, I know. But that's not
what he does. That's his thing.
But the thing is that I expected just a shit kicking, and I know that it's a Merseyside derby, and if there is a game where Goodison can lift them early in the season, it's this one. Yeah. But let's be very clear about something. Liverpool hit the post 3 times, right? And Nunez was at it.
And Pickford made 8 saves and all those things. Sure. Yeah. But the XG wasn't that far off from each other.
It wasn't. And I have a bone to pick with how they calculate that. But nonetheless,
I don't think
Everton had their chances too.
Oh, no. They have it at 2.2 to 1.1. Yeah, that's actually more like it. Yeah. I would want to call
Davies
out
hit the post for Everton, right?
Yeah. One player. That freaking Amadou Onana is something else, man. That dude is a midfielder de jour, de power. And I think once they get Idrissa Gueye Ghana back in the lineup at a regular basis and they play both of them together, Tom Davis should not play. It's nice to have him playing. He's a local kid. He's in the derby, but he's a squad player. He would be like a starting player on a championship team. But what you want to see is you want to have their 3 be Iwobi, Gay, and Onana. And the one that I love and I can't get over is Iwobi is fucking transformed, and we have to give Lampard credit for that. He's on the ball. He's moving things around. If they had anything looking like a striker, it's starting to fall into place. You can see the squad and the question of how they're going to work, of what this team is going to be. And, they're going to survive this DCL thing. And from there, you sort of can start to see, oh, this team's going to work. It's going to function. It's going to be a real team that sends out their best 11. It's going to be Tarkovsky. It's going to be Cody, Mikalenko, Onana, Iwobi, and they're just going to ground it out. They're going to figure out how to get those goals and Gordon, and just going to be like, oh, Everton's okay. They're going to be 12 to 15. They're not going down. They're fine. And then they can see where they are from there. So I think this is one of those statements where Frank gets a little bit more love and a little bit more credit. And then we can go to his friend. And then you got any more for that game, or you want to?
Well, just on this game real quick. Coming up, I think Everton goes to the Emirates. So This is the hero game for Everton, right? This is
they take something on this game. It's huge.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? So, you got a result against Liverpool, which is going to feel like 3 points. It's not, but it's going to feel that way.
Yeah, they don't have a win yet, but they have 4 draws.
So let's see if they can. I'm not saying I need a result out of them at the Emirates.
But it's more playing well.
But how are you doing? Because I'm still not buying the stock on Everton yet. And
no, it's understandable.
I think there's a lot of risk there. So
I think when you see Ghana and Onana together, I think that's going to be the change because all of a sudden they're not going to get played through, and they have this big, strong, really creative young midfielder. I mean, he must be like 6'3", running through makes a big, big difference because I think, as I get better at understanding football and understanding how it works and understanding, like, I look at your team and I see Betancourt, I'm like, God, he makes such a fucking difference, especially next to Højbjerg. Højbjerg's kind of a bit less fluid. He can take things, but he doesn't. But once he gets it to Betancourt does a turn and it moves, right? He kind of has a little bit more fluid, a little bit more dancey, and he kind of just turns it and makes things move. So, City. So that's what I see for Everton. That would be a huge, huge result if they can get anything off them. Let's go to my team. So we go from Fat Frank to Stevie to Slippin' Stevie.
I didn't see much of this, but I do know that them not hitting the money line and Haaland getting 3 shots. By the way, none in the first half. 3 shots, not 4. Ruined my college football Saturday. So
this was a very controlled City performance. That was not. It's one of these games that City has that, I said to you, oh, they didn't score in the first 5 minutes. Oh, that they're fucked. But I mean, Villa were really, really good for once. He seemed to get a performance out of them. So that's how you know that Villa are not quitting on. They're not quitting on Gerrard yet. But City getting a 1.4 xG to a 0.2 for Villa means, yes, they control the game, but City against Villa should be in a 2 range where they're really just putting a lot of shots on goal and doing a lot of damage. And they didn't. And I thought, Leon Bailey had 2 shots in the second half. The first half was nothing to talk about. It was awful, unwatchable. Like, I know how there is a boring City. Even City fans, we do get this kind of like, wow, they're so good. Look at them just pop the ball around. Bing, bang, boom, bang, bing, bang, boom, bang. And then I think somewhere in this first half, Haaland gets his goal. He's now on 10. Coutinho comes on. And then there's another change that I didn't like. Riyad Mahrez comes on, but I guess he has to play. And City are just kind of, I think later in the game, especially later in the game, Villa are just like, you know what? Fuck this. We got this. We're gonna get this game done. The goal comes from the battleship Rodri staying on the ball too long. They grab it off him, get a shot on goal. Leon Bailey, left foot, no problem. The win is there. But City just don't quite at it. They never really kick on. They don't really create that much. You can sort of see the problem, right? You can get a sense of how much City just held on to the ball and didn't do much. Rodri, Cancelo, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, Kyle Walker are all over 97 touches. No one in the front line is over 50. No one's over 75. So they're kind of just backing it around in the back and kind of just futzing around. So very frustrating.
Full marks to Villa then. It was a result they needed to have, and
they needed it.
It brings up the there's a couple of things we're going to be excited for next week, but one of them is the sword of Damocles is hanging. It's waiting to cut off either Gerrard or Rodgers' neck. Now I don't think it's Dyche anymore. I think that those teams don't strike me as teams that would take him.
It's got to
No.
come from somewhere else. It might be someone like, if Nottingham Forest is really doing badly. I mean, I don't expect them to be. But if they're doing really bad, maybe.
Mhm.
If Bournemouth slip, I mean, Bournemouth did get off to Schneider. We'll talk about that game in a minute. I mean, we don't have to.
I think it's going to be Everton.
You think no way. They won't do that. Everton
Well,
fans. The Everton fans would riot. They do not want Dyche. They hated Benitez. They hate that defensive shit. They don't want it. They won't want it. They will kill not to have that type of shit in their park.
See,
but tell me,
violence, and you get things done.
Yeah, tell me about this this Tottenham win. Just to let's sort of quell some problems with your boy Sonny. Their narrative right now is, Sonny can't score. Should he be benched?
Oh my goodness. He looked great, by the way, on Saturday. This is just, it's silly. This is what happens when you have nothing else to think about, no other sports to watch. You go, well, maybe the guy who won the Golden Boot last year is terrible now. By the way, how about Mo Salah? I don't hear anything about him, guys. No. So, I mean, listen, Sonny's, you can see at times, and what I wouldn't say in this match, but like there were times where he's like kind of off it a little bit. But no, I mean, he looked great. I mean, Kane was playing him in. I loved seeing Richarlison play ahead of Kulusevski, not because I thought that Kulusevski hasn't been anything but great this year, but I did like you have to get Richarlison time, and you have to get again, I will repeat, Golden Boot winning forward. You got to get him going. So I think that he's going to be perfectly fine.
And what about and so more Spurs narrative. What do you make of Conte saying we're still 3 or 4 windows away?
Yeah, I mean, he's making sure that publicly his first of all, he's always gone everywhere he's gone. He's always complained. You could give him 500 million pounds and he would still bitch about not having enough resources to get what he needs done. So there's that, right? Like this is a thing that he does. Yeah. He did it at Chelsea, he did it at Inter, he's doing it at Spurs. So we're not surprised.
I know.
But like, okay, great. Because right now we're looking like one of the best teams in the league, and we haven't even played that well yet. I think this is one of our best games of the year so far. But like, okay, good.
Well,
if you think we can get better,
now you have your friends and my friends, Mr. Cities. You're going up to Manchester. Mm-hmm. You're going to be playing on a break. You're all ready for it. This is your time to shine.
Yeah.
And City's defense is we giving up goals.
Both teams to score. That's the bet. But no, I just I felt good about this win. I getting the second goal was massive, and because I knew that Fulham and likely Mitrovic would probably do something, and the goal he scored was fantastic, absolute top corner. They had some opportunities though. Loris was really, really great again. I have failed our listeners. I was too focused on being excited about the first day of college football. The Christian Romero yellow card was the easiest bet in the world, and I didn't even place it. So you can be mad at me that I didn't tell you, but I didn't win any money on it either. So my apologies, friends. But yeah, I think that they're starting to gel even more, and I liked seeing Richarlison get a start. And
he's pretty good, that dude.
I remember when the rumors came out, and I was like, I don't like him, and I know he's really good. I just don't like him, and it took me like 8 minutes, and I was like, I love this guy. He's my asshole now.
He's a shithole. He's a shitheel.
Yeah, he's my shitheel.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy. He's got the edge. He brings an edge, right? He has a thing that he does. Like it's very. I feel like it's something that Spurs actually needs. Yeah. Spurs needs those guys because I think Son and Kane are. I think Sonny has a secret edge, but I don't think people respect. There's a weird cognitive bias on Asian players where no one thinks that they're tough. But they are.
I will compare him to one of his very good friends, Tom Holland. He's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, right? Like he's not like the badass or anything like that. Kane always gets slighted for reasons we don't have enough time or energy to go into right now. But yeah, you're right.
But you know what I mean? He's not a rah-rah guy. He's got the hair lip, the weird lisp. Like, he doesn't, he's a badass. Right. He wants to win. I'm not questioning his competitiveness, but from the surface, you're not seeing, he doesn't get in guys' grills. He's not Ronaldo throwing his hands up. Sonny's like a nice guy. He does his little camera thing.
Yeah,
but, he'll kick you if you kick him. He'll break he'll break somebody's leg if he has to.
Right. But, no, I think Richarlison brings that fuck youishness back to Spurs.
He'll get you a yellow.
But it's him and Romero who were, Brazil, Argentina, famously last year. Romero almost tried to break his leg in the game against Everton late in the year. Awesome. He posted it on Instagram after the game. It was the whole thing. But now they've joined forces, and nobody's safe. Not even.
By the way, I know this is
defending champions who we beat twice last year. I will remind you of that.
I know. By the way, I left something out. I do want to track back to the United thing. It goes back to the Argentinian. That Martinez, Macio, that those two dudes, the two changes to the two changes to the United defense have completely transformed their personality. They just like high-fiving, they're fucking slapping.
We said this on the last episode.
I know. But they did it again. They're still like
I know.
Fired up. It's so good.
It's like I love watching people celebrate non-goals like goals.
It's the best.
We talked about Emi Martinez like just
doing the
dicking around.
Yeah, it's
right.
awesome.
Like so, it's okay. So we have the on-field quality. We've beaten this horse to death and back, but like there's so much quality on the field in the Premier League, but there's so much personality and nonsense. You've got Richarlison doing the keep ups. You've got Anthony doing the step overs. It's awesome. You got Black Panther coming back for Chelsea now, right? So awesome. Aubameyang's back. So there's depending on what side you're on, heroes, villains, personalities.
And then I think a little bit like even City, like we need Grealish. He's such a shit heel.
Well, you got Haaland now who has a personality, right? Yeah. And so
all that stuff matters, especially like you've got to push the team. Like City's personality has changed with Haaland. I think that there is an adjustment kind of going like he's fired up. I got to get him the ball.
Yeah, and I think it reminds of the Diego Costa
he's coming back.
Mourinho years. Yeah, right, exactly. He's back to
but
you could go down the list and more teams have a character. Mitrovic is a character, right?
He's badass. Yeah. But then going into another game that I want to touch on just because, it's my beloved Brighton. We talked about the score, but Leicester is in really trouble and they don't have anything. There's nothing coming from that team right now. No. Like even Vardy on a losing team, he's not doing his bird. He's got nothing. Like your wife is a grass. All he has is that. There's no change. Here's a number. You ready? There's 5 starters from Brendan Rodgers' first game still in the first team.
Yeah,
that's 2009, 2019. They're still playing.
It's not 2009.
No, it's not. 2019. They're still playing the same guys. It's still Johnny Evans. It's still Tielemans. It's still, it's still Madison. It's still Vardy. They're all still there. And it's just not working at all. They are fragile. They are now in are they going to get relegated race, world, place? I think that's one of the things that I find fascinating. Like there are things that are true. We think are true. Leicester are a good squad. Brendan Rodgers is a good coach, but they're broken. Can that coach get that team back, or does it have to be someone new?
I don't think you've lived this as a City fan, but I sure as hell did with Spurs, with Pochettino.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was it, right? Like, I mean, granted, the leash, technically the leash was pretty long. It was long. Into November. Yeah. But, I mean, it was – don't get me started. But
you had that you had the Champions League run that kind of hit it the year before.
Yeah, fine. But the idea that you just said 5 players in the first team still. That when you said that reminded me of late Pochettino because he's looking around like it's these same Dick, Tom, and Harrys. Really? Are you fucking kidding me? Like I got Harry Winks
wanted to leave 2 years ago, and I got to pencil him in.
Yeah, right.
Right. I mean, that's probably how he feels about Tielemans and Fofana and all these guys. But can Rodgers turn it around? He's kind of just like shitting on the team. He's doing all this stuff, and I think it's a really cool juxtaposition because now you have Brighton. It's like the scales of justice are just like, this team was the model team that's now finishing in 5th. And now we have Brighton sort of lifted into that place where it's just like, hey, it's 8 games in. Okay, they're not going to finish in the top 4, but
hey, you're not gonna learn anything we haven't already told you about Brighton. But a quick word on Alexis Mac Allister, because holy shit, you talked about it in the VAR conversation, but what a thunderbolt of a goal and a goddamn travesty that it was taken off. But yeah, he gets the penalty back, and I was happy to see that he took the pen. And then the last one, I was like, look at this motherfucker. Unbelievable. So,
but the even thing, this is another moment of Potterism. The guy was signed as a number 10. He's turned him into a 6. Guy's wearing a 10 on his shirt. He's back there hanging out. They signed Caicedo 18 months before Basuma because they're like, Basuma's good. We're going to have to sell him. Let's get this guy now. There's just so much like conveyor belty kind of smart football goes into Brentford. We have these 2 teams that are really models right now that we love a lot. And then we have our other, I feel like Villa has left us. We're no longer friends of Villa, but Southampton still has love. I think I'm back in love with Southampton a little bit, even though they did, they did lose this week. But yeah, I do find the thing to do with Rodgers is weird. I mean, he's at the point where he's gonna get canned. It's just gonna happen if he can't move this team forward. We have one international break, and then we have the World Cup. I don't know. Yeah. We still don't know how it's going to work, but it's
like I said, there's 16 games before the World Cup, so it's not going to. They're not going to wait that long. But just again, harking back to walking through that Pochettino era, at the end, it was toxic for everybody because we're going to pretend that the people involved, they're not human beings, but they very, very much are. Do you think that this hasn't been just the entire Fofana experience, right? Like he's not leaving. He knows, right? So that entire experience, just the whole preseason being marred by you're selling people, you're not bringing anybody in, and now there's horrible results, and there's got to be infighting, and it's just a shitty, miserable place to be. And I feel bad for Barrage and for this Leicester team that we've all grown up with,
Yeah, they have this. It's 7 years, man.
Yeah,
they won the fucking title, and it's 2 years. Is it 2 years? Well, not last year. Yeah, the year before last, they won the FA Cup, which for them, was huge. I mean, for Leicester to win an FA Cup, you have the pictures with Arlo White, the world's most famous Leicester fan for American fans. It's really Gary Lineker is the most famous Leicester fan, but. They're crying in the stands. Dad hadn't win since 1950. These kinds of things. Where you are in your growth is like an FA Cup is huge. Like if Spurs won an FA Cup, it'd be massive.
Yeah, sure.
For you guys, it'd be tremendous. So whereas City, we're just like, we've got our eye on other things. It'd be nice, but it's not important. So, do you want to talk about Brentford? Did you watch them, or you want to talk about the Champions League?
We touch on Brentford real quick. I mean, I didn't get a whole heck of a lot of watching him, but I was keeping an eye on the highlights. We had the Spurs match on the big TV, and we had an iPad with Goal Zone, which I highly recommend, friends. That's the way to go,
especially when there's like 8 games on it.
Yeah, so the 3 p.m. games on the Saturday, that's the way to go. But yeah, I'm an early adopter of Ivan Toney. I love him. I have him in fantasy again this year, and he just helped me cruise to victory this week with a hat trick.
Good.
Big fan.
So good. The other one is what is up with Wissa and the late finishing goals? Guy just comes off the bench and scores goals. All he does is score goals.
Johan Wissa is he's a good shifty player. It just was, for me, it was a thing about minutes. Like I never thought he was going to be that guy that could really put it together and have a full 90 or a string of 90s. But yeah, I mean, the thing about the headline for Toney is that he the 3 goals and all that stuff. He's actually more of a Firmino type.
Yeah, he's that Kane-y, 10-y, 10.5, Iheanacho-y, the 9.5.
He's the 9.5. Yes, thank you. So yeah, I'm
not saying I know anything.
No, because I learned a lot of this because I've had him the last few years in fantasy, so I would watch Brentford. Obviously, if you listen to the show, we love Brentford. But when I learned that, I'm like, he was not an out and out number 9. He's just
he's
a little bit more. He prefers to make a good pass than take a shot from open play, at least.
Except Mbuemo hit the post 14,000 times.
Wow,
so
right, exactly. And so, last year, yeah. So, I mean, so that's kind of the thing that I find that's interesting about Tony.
That was another VAR pen. That's bizarre. That game, they just gave him a penalty out of the blue. Yeah. So that team, I love. That team's doing well. Although I was on a Reddit board, there's an amazing "I hate Brentford" post that's from a Swansea fan that is just I have to share later on. It's just pure hatred from a Swansea fan from when they were in the championship. It's like a meme of just like, awesome. I hate them. I hate everything about them. I hope they burn in hell. I hope like, whoa, Thomas Frank is a phony. I'm like, ow, this guy's nuts. Wow. Well, you miss going up by some team knocking you out. That's enough. You're just like, I hate you forever. Yeah. Please die in a fire.
Yes, yeah.
So that's
Chelsea get by. Like we talked about Chelsea West Ham quickly. But
I forgot about that game. Yeah,
they get by, and
they don't deserve it though. They're still bad.
But they get the 3 points. They're on 10. But it's interesting looking at the table right here because you've got Arsenal and City and Spurs at the top. Obviously,
it could end this way. The only one that's Brighton's got to get out of there. Like,
Brighton's going to fall a little bit.
Yeah, Liverpool will be in there.
Well, that's what I mean.
Are they?
United, obviously things change quickly, right? But I mean, I had United in the top 4 ahead of Chelsea. I had Chelsea in the 6-7 range this year. And I caught some shit for that.
I had them at 4. I just didn't trust Ten Hag, and I'm happy to be wrong. I didn't know enough.
Sure. So. Right. But Liverpool's behind Chelsea right now. So if we're saying Chelsea effectively has to jump 2 teams ahead of them, and I mean, 4 points at this stage of the season is nothing. And the games are coming thick and fast. And I understand that. And Chelsea are still betting in new signings. And they're going to get better. And Fofana's going to play. And I understand.
Yeah,
2
but
teams is a lot.
The thing is that I think there's one thing that we know. And we know that Tuchel doesn't pull things back and get them back on track.
Right.
Like he's not. And like the problems for Chelsea are not the things that Tuchel's good at. And Chelsea's good at, for that matter. Chelsea, in its DNA and in its heart, is a defense-first, smash mouth, get a goal, go home, leave you mad and bloodied team.
Yeah,
and that's not the play. That's not the personnel they have.
Mm-hmm.
You need a fist at the front of that team, and they have little fingers, right? But you need what you need.
Finger,
right? You need. What's weird is like they need Mitrovic.
Well, okay. Do they need Mitrovic? Do they have Lukaku? Did they have Lukaku?
Yeah, but Lukaku. That's not what Lukaku is. A ball to feet. He's more. The problem with Lukaku is he looks like Drogba, but plays like Aubameyang.
Yeah.
So he's a ball to feet.
That sounded meaner than you meant for it to sound, but I like it.
Yeah. Well, because Aubameyang doesn't like. I don't know why. Aubameyang's not going to score goals for this team. I don't know why they think he will. He's a run onto things. He's a cut in from the inside. They don't create enough, and they need someone that the ball will stick. Then the small little freaking the attacking mids can run around them, and he can play those balls in. But right now, they kind of just fiddle around. And yeah, sure, Havertz got his shithouse goal, and that's nice. And they got it done. But they're getting it done because they're super talented, and it's a $500 million squad. But it's not working. If that's
I would agree.
Terminology.
I would agree. No. And again, the margins are small at this point in the season, and you can make it up fast. And one of these two teams,
he could completely change it, and they could go on a run. But
as much as we love Brighton. As much as we both love Brighton, we would both be shocked if they finished ahead of Chelsea in the table. But we do think Liverpool's going to.
If they do, then Potter should be the coach of Chelsea.
Right. but we do think Liverpool's going to stay ahead of them, or get ahead of them. And right now they're only a point behind with, by the way, 10 goal difference on them.
Well, that was all on one, right?
I understand, but that doesn't make it count less. So
no. Yeah, I think the thing is.
Liverpool, you have to jump 2 more teams to get into the top 4.
I just think that Liverpool will find right now what's happening with Liverpool. I don't think it's a game, it's a playing thing. So, I actually listened to a really good article. it's the midfield, not in its creativity, but it's in generation of turnovers, because they never really had really good creativity. Their midfielders were creative because they just took the ball.
Yeah.
And so Salah would get the ball in space with one defender or defenders moving, because what's Salah good at? He's like the fastest mover with the ball you can find. But now there's two people on him. It's 15 meters further down. Everything is off. All the spacing is off. They're not moving as a unit. They're not getting to turnovers. The turnovers are happening 20 yards deeper. Everything is off, and it's just not clicking. Like, they have to get that aggression back. And I don't know if the player is on the team to get that, but they need it. They need a Basuma. They really need, like, Højbjerg. They need some different. They need Wijnaldum. They need those.
Well, and that's where their softness continues to be. Arthur, they expect to hopefully, bridge that gap a little bit, but who knows?
He's more of a passer.
The thing I will say is that Darwin Núñez has never made a shot he doesn't like. Right?
Good. That's what he should do.
No, I understand, but I think that we always talk about the 90+8s and all that stuff. And by the way, real quick on that, our friend Bart, friend of the show, was at that game, and the goal was in his end, and he was telling me a little bit about it. That's fucking incredible. So we love hearing about experiences when folks get to go over there, and we get up every Saturday, Sunday morning and watch these games, but when you get to experience it live, there truly is nothing better than that. So that's awesome. And if you have any interest in going out there, let us know. We can talk to you about it, because we've done it a few times or whatever. But glad that our buddy was able to get there. But no, it's but yeah, I think Núñez needs to steal a couple of games for them over the course of this figuring it out phase for them, right?
Right, they'll get there. I'm not. Rumors of Liverpool's demise are greatly exaggerated.
Oh, greatly. Oh, no, absolutely. I just said that they finished in the top four stuff. But the point is that I think that they need a hero while they get their shit together, right? And I think Núñez can be that guy.
Yeah. Let's do a quick rundown of what's going on tomorrow in the Champions League. I'll just read off the schedule. You can stop where we want to. Dynamo Zagreb. Chelsea goes away to Zagreb. That's a place to drop points. That's a tough stadium. Dortmund,
I
Copenhagen.
did say that, but again, they're going to take on a shit side. Oh, yeah. They're going to full. So they have easy travel is the issue. So I actually don't think that they will be in as much trouble as I thought when the group came out.
Yeah,
we'll see.
City go to the Mestalla in Sevilla. What else? PSG, Juve. It seems like they play every year.
Yeah, right.
Ajax Rangers is a really, really good one. It's in Ajax, but that's kind of a shit Champions League, but a really good Europa League game. It's
like a Europa League final. And
then you guys are hosting Marseille, and Liverpool goes to Napoli, where I'd hope the Napoli Dons are throwing firecrackers at them.
So there's three things on my radar here. Celtic Madrid at Celtic Park is going to be a lot of fun until Madrid scores their third goal of the game. Napoli, Liverpool, like you said, again, Inter versus Bayern. Inter is the sneaky team in that group that might take Barcelona's spot. We'll see.
Italian teams have not made it out of the round of 16 in 3 years.
Okay, but they made it out of the group stage. That's what I'm saying. Tottenham Marseille is a sneaky, difficult game. I'm not going to sit here and complain about the team that Spurs got drawn with in pot 4 because the group is a walkover. But Marseille is comfortably the best team in pot 4. I don't think there's any argument on that. And they've got a lot of I've mentioned this on the draw recap episode. Yeah, a lot of Arsenal players on Marseille, so they're going to have their
makes
shanks
sense.
Sharpened.
It makes sense. I believe that Ligue 1 is the number one source of players in the Premier League outside of English players, something like that.
Interesting.
It always feels like it's not, but France provides a lot of players because they have a really good farm system, and their league doesn't.
Well, Arsenal send them the other way. Okay,
so yeah, they're sending them back.
Right. No, I mean, I am excited that Champions League is back. I don't know. There's a ton of heavy hitter games this week, but keep an eye on it.
I do. We did leave one thing out. Our friend Jesse Marsh got a red card.
Yeah, he did.
So he's a little fired up. So that's kind of cool.
Quick best bet segment. Take the overs. Just take the overs on Champions League games. They score goals in bunches. Just take the overs. You know what? Erling Haaland is going to score 5 goals in Sevilla. Like it's gonna get somebody's gonna have a crooked number where you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right,
Mike,
let's
I'm
get out of
done.
here.
All right. That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network. We are getting our recording schedules right, so we record on Mondays and Thursdays. So be sure to subscribe wherever you can get your podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Apple, please rate and review the show. It makes a difference. Also, in the description, please join the WhatsApp group. Shout out to Manny, Dima, Alex, Chari, the whole gang for being and chatting on the show. It's been really